you don't need to do it from 9 to 5. You can do this business on your own time. Like Roy, that's what made me think of it. Roy texts from 9 to 11 every day, and then he's done.
I really just think it's 4,000 to 6,000 texts per month to make 100,000. You're going to hit that number if you have your operations in place for sure.
If I were to start over, I'd start with texting first. You can then go to any business and do the same thing. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today's topic, we're talking about making $100,000 from texting in 2025. And we're going to talk a little bit about how that differs and what the differences are between that versus mail, and maybe even touch a little bit on cold calling. But there are big differences in your business, whether you're texting or sending mail. There's massive changes that you see between the two marketing schedules. But as always, guys, I'm here with my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. Welcome back, Ron.
Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to chat about this topic. I think it's important. I think it's a way to get in this business for lower overhead than maybe mail or something else, which obviously we can touch base on. But yeah, as a whole, texting is, some people are, we had Roy on a couple weeks ago, some people are absolutely crushing it with texting. So giving a blueprint, what's important with texting, what's not important, how do you be efficient with your time? I think that's really gonna be good here.
Well, Roy's interesting because he got his first deal from mail.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people who see early success in mail might stay mail. But what was it, about 6 months ago, maybe he said he changed start texting, and then from there it really took off. And
Full-time texting, then scaled it up.
Full-time texting. And there's a lot of advantages we're going to get on, but that's interesting because he went from one spectrum to all the way to the other. He's been doing it full-time for over a year now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think land he's been doing over a year. Texting, like you said, I think he's been full-time 6 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a perfect example, and talking to him in more detail, learning about his kind of business life. The biggest thing with him, and it wasn't like finances weren't like he could spend more money on mail or other marketing. His biggest thing, Dan, was his motivation to have low overhead. And I think that's a lot of people, maybe even if they have.
Nice.
Yeah. If you only have, I don't know, you send text, you're getting data, whatever it is, $1,000 of overhead a month or something like that.
Yeah, and you can use, just going into it, so let's just talk about the cost differences real quick since we're on that. So mail, you have to send mail to landowners. It's 60-something cents, 50-something cents, whatever it is right now, 60 cents.
65, yeah.
65 cents a piece of mail for 2 pages, envelope, all that, which is great. You're reaching them. It's a purchase agreement, but it's expensive. You send 1,000, it's $700 nearly. That's a lot of money. You send 1,000 text, all you have to pay for is the software and the data. If you have a data cost, if you're on the Unlimited Pro plan, maybe not because you get the 20,000 free. But if you have a data cost, there's that, and then there's skip tracing as well, which is a cost. But it's minimal. The overhead is minimal compared to mail, and I think it's important noting that because there's a trade-off with time. You're spending a little bit more time, but your overhead's so low, and there's launch control, which is $500. Or if you guys know the compliance and you guys want to try something else, there's companies like REI Reply, all these other ones that are like $90 a month, something like that, $50 a month, 90. It's not going to be as legal compliant. But I know wholesalers out there that are making tons and tons of money off of companies like REI Reply and not spending the $500 a month. The $500 a month is really secure, and I strongly suggest you do that, but there's also ways to even mitigate that more.
Yeah, I think it's important when looking into a business, like how much time, how much money you're going to have to put in. And it's kind of what your goals are too. Roy wasn't one who came off as someone like, I want to make $5 million in this business. He's like, I want to have time freedom was really big for him. He wanted to be able to spend time with his family. He has a kid, and like that was really cool just hearing his motivation behind that. And everyone's different. And when you're coming in, choosing a marketing strategy that fits you, I think, is really important, where you're not just choosing anything because you have money, you're doing mail. I don't think it should be like that. Maybe we've said that sometimes, but like it has to be like, what's your aspirations with this? I think your goals and aspirations, as Kamala said. She's
getting political on us.
But I think what you're kind of looking to get out of it is what you need to do.
Yeah, and that's what's unique about this business, because we just literally came from interviewing the Condado Taco. He owns 50 plus locations. He's scaling it to 100. And it's incredible because that's a hard business to scale. So learning from him was really inspirational. It was just fun to listen to him because the operations behind that. But uniquely to this business, you can have different businesses within this and different things. Like, you don't need to do it from 9 to 5. You don't need to have staff on site from 9 to 5. You can make this business. That's why I joined it, for the freedom and the time freedom and the flexibility. You can do this business on your own time, which is so much different than that interview we just came from. And that being said, what am I talking about is, okay, we can text like Roy. That's what made me think of it. Roy texts from 9 to 11 every day, and then he's done.
Yep.
What are you
Start some
smirking
coaching.
at?
He's gonna do. He's gonna do some coaching for us too. But yeah, he is. Roy is very minimal as far as the time he puts into this, and he's getting a lot out. Like he's gonna make $200,000-$300,000 this
With
year.
very
just
little
texting.
overhead.
Very little.
You would
overhead.
need $400,000-$500,000 of mail to see that same profit.
Marketing overhead might be $1,000 a month for him.
Yeah.
So like he's hitting a lot of people. 20. It's gonna be more than that because I forgot he's doing 20,000. But with 10,000, like you can do $1,000 per month. With 20,000, he might have $1,500, $2,000 in marketing
It's still such a
expenses per
small
month,
percentage,
and he's
of your
getting
business.
4 to 5 deals a month. So he's
4
making
to 5.
yeah, just from texting. Yeah,
Is he
he's
double closing?
He hasn't done that yet. I believe. Tell me
think
if
he
I'm
has.
wrong in the comments, but I believe he has not double closed. But yeah, just seeing like people like that just go all into texting. And he knows the business because he did other modes of marketing as well, and he just picked the one that was best for him. It took him 6 months to go that route, but I think it's
And-
something I'm much more open to new members coming in and doing that.
And there's 2 ways to close deals over texting. You can close it over texting, or you can get a appointment set and close it over the phone. Appointment set's the traditional way to do it, but Roy and a couple others, Morgan and someone else, said that they're doing it all over text. I know Roy's not doing it all over
Yeah.
text, but Morgan's doing it all over text, and Roy said he's doing a lot just over text when they don't want to talk. And then there's people like Reagan, for instance, who's doing the whole cold call, which is different than text, but it's the same concept here. So text, let's just say text, and the goal of the text is to get an appointment booked with him, and then he closes on the appointment booked, runs them through the script, talks to them,
He's a
analyzes the
salesperson.
discovery. Yeah, he's a salesperson. So there's that strategy too, which that would probably be my favorite if I went. It's like, okay, let's just get appointments of qualified sellers, right? So you have a setter. The texting is to get the qualified people booked to an appointment, right? Cold call, same situation, get them booked to an appointment. And then and then it's a formula at that point. Okay, they're qualified, they're coming on. We know we're going to buy 3 every 10 properties, or 4 every 10 people that come on these appointments we're going to do. And then you just have to scale from there. How many appointments of qualified people can we get?
Yep.
And then really scale it from there. And then they're booking appointments, and then you're closing 30% of them, and vice versa. And you take them through a discovery and a pitch, like a real sales pitch.
Because the responses, operations are much more key for texting, in my opinion, because the
Versus mail.
Because you're going to get a 10% plus response rate versus mail. You're going to get a 1% or 1.5% response rate where people are calling you.
Yeah,
So
true.
the operations, not necessarily having a VA, but having processes for it. I think you can have a full-time VA that does everything up till that appointment even. Eventually, that would probably be a goal where you can really just all day, you're just appointments, trying to close deals essentially.
But if you have the text going out from certain times every day, and you just have all your systems built around that time, and then all the follow-ups kind of happening after that as well, it's cool because it's literally an on-off button. I think that's the biggest advantage of texting. It's a clear on-off button. And if you have a system in place like I'm talking about, and every 3 out of 10 appointments that you're booking are going to close, you can turn that on button and then amplify it 40% to get more and work backwards because your operations can handle it. You have it all. It's just scalability wise, that's why I like it so much. It's like very clear. It reminds me of ads almost, like our ads and the education essentially going to get people in to consult. It's all a formula at that point, and you know how to scale, and the operations kind of adjust accordingly.
And it works. Like get data on it. But going back to like the question of the title, Dan, making $100,000, like I really don't think you just need to get a deal a month. Like I think texting margins, like Roy said, he only has like $12,000 margin, which you can obviously get bigger as well. I think
Deals?
12,000 on his average for deals.
That's small,
Average margin, yeah, which I think you can get that up to 15, 20, but it's a deal every month, every 2 months at whole to make $100,000. I really just think it's 4,000 to 6,000 texts per month, which the cost of that is just minimal
to make 100,000.
to make 100,000.
Yeah,
If you're trying to net 100,000, even then, like you start sending 5, 6, 7,000 texts per month, you're going to hit that number if you have your operations in place for sure.
yeah, and that's 4,000 to 5,000 texts a month. Break that down. What's that per day?
100, 150 a day, 200 a day, maybe.
That's not a lot at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're working backwards from the numbers Roy and the community is giving us, that's what it is. I would start with 10,000 texts no matter who it is, because you're given that with launch control, and you
Yeah.
might as well take advantage of it.
You gotta get the data.
And you just got to get the data. I would start with 10,000 texts because you already have it. You just need the data, and really focus on 10,000 and then kind of scale it from there. 10,000 is not going to, I don't think, going to completely overwhelm you and be like, wow, I
That'll
can't
be
do
2
this.
deals too. That'll be 2 deals on average over a year.
Once you get your systems. But texting's tricky, especially if you're just starting out. You got to be able to qualify and disqualify people very quick. Qualify and disqualify land. Is it good land, bad land? Am I actually going to buy this very quick? Or else you'll spin your wheels. And most of you out there who aren't in the proper education are going to go 2-3 months texting without getting a deal. Mail is a little bit different. I really think you guys can send out mail and get deals back with knowing very little. Texting is much, much, much higher of a skill
You can
to close
start
deals.
reviewing, and the reason being, you can start reviewing 100 deals a day that are crap land from.
You don't know where to put your attention.
Yeah.
Think of if you don't know how to qualify people. Are these people actually going to sell their land? Are they actually interested? How many people are you talking to who are like, I want 400,000, and they're not actually interested? Their land's worth $2, and you're spinning your wheels. But you have these 3 out of those 10 people that you talk to are actually interested, but you're spending the time on the 7 others because you don't know how to. And then you're not closing the 3 that are actually, and you're spinning your wheels and not closing deals. That's why, like anything, you got to stay consistent with it and learn the biggest thing in texting: qualify and disqualify people and qualify and disqualify land, and know how to close those qualified people. So you qualify or disqualify them, then you spend time on them, negotiate, and close them. It's once you get the reps in, it will get easier and easier, but that's the main difference between texting and mail. Texting, the skill level's higher of what you need to close deals.
The nice thing is, like, with the data software, with the land portal in particular, you can filter out so much bad land right now. Like you can filter out landlocked, you can get your list pretty precise in terms of the type of land that you're trying to, especially when you can start filtering out slope and stuff. But that's what I would do. Like, you get launch control, that's $500 a month. You get the unlimited pro plan, which is $500 a month on the land portal. That gives you 20,000 data points. So that's for 10,000 texts. You're going to have for 10,000 property records, you're going to have $1,000 of expenses. You also need to skip trace, which is another $400 or so at 4 cents if you're doing that. And then you're all in $1,400 a month, and you're hitting 10,000 new contacts every month. Like, the results are going to, you got to learn. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, okay, what didn't work last month? Instead of saying these leads don't want to sell, what didn't work last month, and make adjustments. And then that's what Roy did. Like, when you listen to him talk.
Yeah.
It's not external stuff.
And a lot of people will blame the externals. This is I don't want to say highly skilled, but texting is a skilled thing, and you really, really, really have to look inward at what's going on and adjust and make your this texting is not for someone who's not going to adjust greatly.
Yep.
Like, it's just what you do at first isn't going to close you deals, but what you do the second, third week probably will, and you're going to continue to learn. But I really, really believe that if you're not willing to adjust in texting and in your processes and learn how to qualify people, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much anything,
I know from
though.
my experience,
Yeah,
you just don't know at first. No, mail is way different though. Mail, anybody can learn how to price it, send a blind offer, and then these people are going to call motivated already.
Yeah.
Texting's a whole different animal with
Yeah.
that. But it's a lot lower of a upfront cost. It's lower risk.
So you meaning more on, like, the processes? Like, the process just can break you down in terms of, like,
It's not going to break you down. You're just not going to know how to close a deal. You're going to put your attention on the wrong leads, and you're not going to close anything.
disqualifying not enough.
More people aren't getting deals from texting because of their skill, and they're not learning, and they're not in the right programs or whatever.
Even
it
like
is.
the copy of the text, though. Like, copy
Everything.
matters. Like,
Copy matters. How you're talking to them matters. Your appointment and closing them. Where you're putting your attention. What leads.
follow up.
Your follow-up system. Everything. But you don't need to do it perfect, and I don't want to make it sound too hard because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You, instead of at first getting 1 deal per every 5,000 like Roy is, you might be getting 1 deal per every 20,000.
Yeah.
And you just got to learn, what did I do right with that 1 deal? And you just continue to learn, and then you also see throughout that process who's not selling to you and why, and you'll understand how to qualify or disqualify people. That's where most of your time needs to go, and then that allows you to spend your time where 80% of the business is going to be.
You have so much more data with texting, which I like, as far as like response data, all these different data points on what like A/B testing stuff's really important. Like if you guys are in the education, I did I think it was an hour, 2 hour. There's 4 modules with launch control talking about like the different strategies and how to use it. And he said like how important A/B testing are. If you're just throwing one text out month after month, cold text, and then not doing much after that, your results are going to hurt, I think. But if you start A/B testing, like you can really get something that precisely works and get that every 3,000.
copy.
Yeah, the copy, the way your follow-up sequence, how you're DQing people.
Your questions.
100%. Like that's so important.
Because how do you qualify someone? You got to ask them questions.
Yep.
So you got to tweak your questions accordingly and use the community, because there's no excuse to start blank, because our community teaches, and there's so many people doing texting full time that you can piggyback off of.
He said in the launch control guy said in the education, I don't remember exactly like how you define a lead is very, very important. I don't remember what he said, so I don't want to miss. But listen to that if you guys haven't already, if you guys are a member. But yeah, like
that's what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
Qualified, disqualified. That's a lead or no.
Yeah. And understanding what text gets you a higher percentage of leads, what text gets you have a response rate, and then you have leads. 2 different things. So understanding your data and making for sure. Understanding your data and making adjustments is huge. And then you have all the front end things you can make changes on down in terms of what type of land, what areas you're targeting. So many different things you can do before you even hit the send button on the text.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think, like, if I were to start over, I'd start with texting first. I think you're gonna, if you guys can learn how to text people and get deals from texting, which you will. If you're listening to this, you're already listening and putting in the education, you're going to do well in texting. It's just a matter of time. But if you guys can do that, you can then go to any business and do the same thing. Because a lead's a lead at that point. Yep. Mail's a little different. It doesn't teach you the nurture process as well. But texting,
you don't get enough responses.
You don't get enough responses, and those responses are different. They're highly qualified already because
Yep.
it's a blind offer. But texting's taking those semi-qualified and taking them through the nurturing process and closing deals.
Bigger skill set.
It's a much bigger skill set, which is very, very valuable to have. So if I were to start back knowing what I did today, I'd text a lot. I also would do a lot of offers, blind offers to targeted subdivides, things like that as well. But that's me knowing what I know right now. If you're starting out, I wouldn't go after just subdivides, but if you have some experience, I would. I mean, guys, you don't need a lot of deals. My brother Mike's doing $400,000, $200,000 deals. I don't remember. How much is it?
I don't know.
It's a $400,000 deal that he closed, and he's doing a subdivide, good 6-figure subdivide. You don't need a lot of deals when you do that. I'm very, very pro bigger deals and less volume.
Mm-hmm. And learning how to text, because I think, like you said, like I agree, like it is a real skill set learning how to manage 100 leads every month, or even more than that. It's probably close to 1,000 leads every month versus managing 5-10 leads every month with a couple of thousand pieces of mail. Like if you learn that, it is a transferable skill.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to cold
exciting.
text, learning how to manage a real pipeline, not a pipeline.
Well, and then you can
3-5
scale
people.
it too.
100%.
With people in place, systems in place, everything.
Yeah.
If you want to go that route.
I think it's important for people to invest in their systems and invest in different types of marketing without a doubt.
So going back to the question, making $100,000 from texting in 2025, $1,400 a month will get you 20,000. So hopefully, guys, that $1,400 a month that Ron talked about isn't
for 20,000.
That $1,800 a month, $1,400 to $1,800 isn't to get you 100,000. That can get you 300,000-400,000 if you look at the
100%.
statistics. We're just saying because they already give you 10,000 texts, so we're using that number. It's unlike mail where it's like, oh, send 3,000 to 5,000 pieces of mail.
Yep.
This is a little bit different. You're getting 10,000, then the next jump's 20. So we're just using in those increments because you're already paying for that,
Yep.
and that's already a fixed cost essentially.
Yep.
Every month. So if you guys are doing, that's why we're using those numbers. That 100,000 can very easily go to 300, 400, 500 with guys, $1,400, $1,500, $1,800 of expenses. You're talking about good 6 figures of profit.
Yeah. And for those of you who are direct mail only or something right now, like I'm not saying go away from that, but I would seriously look at incorporating follow-up text, which
if it's working great though, like what do you say to those people?
Like John Horner's one who's like, you can't convince him to do any other marketing, which is good. I think it's a credit to him. He's like, this works. I know I got to spend a lot of money on marketing.
He does a lot of deals.
Yeah, but he does not need a lot of time. Like he's
he doesn't analyze his results. Like in terms of he doesn't overanalyze how many he's getting per mail. He knows he's making a crap ton of money from all of it.
It doesn't matter.
And if it gets him one deal per every 10,000 or one deal per every 2,000, he's going to keep mailing.
Yeah. And that's a credit to him as well, the way he's doing
For
that.
sure. Mike are hyper focused on that.
Yeah, and he won't go, which is good. It is really good. But looking into it, I think is valuable. If you guys are just getting
Same as
started,
Mike too, though.
What, Mike, our brother?
Yeah, he won't text or cold call.
Yeah, it's just the operations and like the time. I think it's the front end time of getting set up. It's not necessarily the back end. It's the front end where Mike in particular and John are really busy. Like setting that up for 30 days, 45 days can be very time consuming. Onboarding someone, if you want a VA doing that, can be time consuming. I think it's just like weighing the different options for sure.
Yeah. Well, I hope that helps. I don't have much to add.
Now, if you guys are watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button below, like this video, leave us a comment, let us know what your thoughts are. If you guys are texting, let us know your success rate. Other than that, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining, guys. As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.